There are numerous YouTube videos about Michael Pearl and what a piece of shit he is. I am going to attempt not to repeat too much of what has already been said about the vile, repugnant fucktard. In a nutshell, Michael Pearl is a staunch advocate of child abuse and spousal abuse. He and his wife Debi have written books that promote the idea that a man must be cruel and abusive to his wife and children. Yes, must be cruel to his family. Not in that he has permission to if he wants to, not that it is recommended, but that it is an imperative. He must. And unfortunately, the scumbag does practice what he spews. As many have asked, why is this criminal fucker not locked up? The reason, because it is his religion. In the United States, criminals get away with anything just because they believe in or pretend to believe in ridiculous bullshit. In order to explain Michael Pearl, I am going to address the cult to which he belongs. The creep has an eerie resemblance to Fred Phelps. He is the head of his own ministry, which consists primarily of his family members. His cult is called No Greater Joy Ministries, and he is the unambiguous cult leader of that cult. Like Phelps, Pearl believes that he is living according to the strict Word of God as found in the Bible. They both espouse ideas that range from loony to abhorrent. Both are unapologetic and apparently delusional in their confidence that they are being guided by some grand cosmic whatnot. But on the one hand, Fred Phelps runs a mostly self-contained cult. The Pearl situation is more complex. There are several cults throughout the world that subscribe to the same pile of shit that Pearl advocates. Some of the core principles that Pearl adheres to are anti-birth control in the extreme. That is, the act of sexual intercourse must be done specifically for the intent of creating babies, and any method used to prevent that end is, in their opinion, immoral. They are anti-reproductive freedom to the extreme. A woman who receives life-saving surgery to end an ectopic or tubal pregnancy is, in their eyes, guilty of murder. This pathological misogyny and mindless barbarism does represent the overall mentality of Pearl's cult. Politically, the cult subscribes to Christian Reconstructionism. This means that they want to establish a totalitarian theocracy based on the most vile, hateful, and despicable aspects of fundy Christianity. They really do think that gay people, adulterers, disobedient children, etc. ought to be stoned to death in public in accordance with the dictates of some stupid old book. If you want to look at redefining marriage, look at these cults. They are some of the most marriage-redefining motherfuckers. Based on biblical patriarchy, as they call it, there is an imaginary tyrant who is the head of the household. The husband pretends to receive guidance from the Easter Bunny or whatever the fuck it is. The wife is reduced to a baby-making slave. And the children? Okay, here's where the most publicly controversial issues come in. In 1994, Michael and Debi Pearl's book, To Train Up a Child, was published. Is the title creepy enough for you? I assure you, it gets worse. This piece of shit is available from Amazon. It has been rightly described as a child torture manual. After 16 years and almost 500,000 copies sold of Pearl's book, there have been numerous cases of child abuse, a few resulting in death from people who have used Pearl's torture manual. The book clearly advocates child abuse. The Pearls recommend striking children, even infants, with a length of 1/4-inch plastic plumbing line. There is one case in particular that brought attention to the Pearls' methods. This is the case of Kevin and Elizabeth Statz, who beat their 9-year-old adopted daughter to death with the Pearl-advised plastic pipe. Michael Pearl had received very harsh criticism after this case in particular. His response was to declare that he was laughing at his critics. Vyckie Garrison is an ex-member of a cult called Quivering, a group that subscribes to much of the same lunacy that the Pearls do. Garrison writes about the offensive response that Pearl had to his criticism. She also points out that Pearl is so extreme that even some of the most indoctrinated cult members cannot stomach his insanity. This is from Vyckie's No Longer Quivering blog. Quote, in his book, Michael Pearl suggests tempting a child with a bite of their favorite food, placing a morsel within the child's reach, and when the said child instinctively reaches out for the food, switch their hand once and simultaneously say, "No." Repeat as many times as necessary until the child is trained not to automatically grab for whatever he or she wants, but rather to automatically look for the parent for permission before reaching out to take the desired food. Even in my quiverful-induced stupor, I recognized the cruelty of such parenting advice to deliberately tempt your child and then smack them when they take the bait. Okay, and here is a quote from Rick Ross's cult education site. Pearl's book warns parents to never whip in anger, always enjoy. Really, always enjoy. Think about this. A person who is capable of experiencing the emotion of joy while performing the action of striking a child. This is a dangerously fucked up individual. It's not a matter of opinion or culture or religion or worldview or anything else. There is something seriously wrong with that guy. All the morality in the world counts for nothing when you don't have a conscience. Because Michael Pearl is so sickening, I feel obligated to leave you with something more positive. I'll go back to Vyckie Garrison. I recommend reading the stories written by women who were in the Quiverful cult and have left. May their strength and courage be an inspiration for us all.